9 a.m., they hit the ice. At 10 a.m., they scrimmage. I can't wait. Can't wait. Good morning to you. Really very super awesome good morning. Good Wednesday morning to you. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. Comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates where you found this. But today is about hockey. Going to date myself with this reference, but when I was a lot younger, I used to get super stoked about this day. And that's whether the Penguins were practicing here on the south side of Pittsburgh, down at the Mount Lebanon Recreation Center, anywhere they've been, when they've opened camp, the feeling's been one of borderline catharsis because you're just so tired of not having hockey that you don't realize how much you missed hockey until it's right there punching you in the face like beautiful reality. And that's what's beginning today. And also within that, for as wonderful as it is to have Sidney Crosby signed, to know that you're going to see these champions, these great players, have an opportunity to continue living out their legacies here in Pittsburgh, hitting great milestones in the right uniform. Gino's 2 goals away from 500, for example. But then to augment that by having a Rutger McGroarty in the fold, having a Sergei Murashov in the fold, having a first-round pick from your own crop in Owen Pickering in the fold, having those couple of players from the Jake Gensel trade, and I'm talking about the couple of younger ones, Vasily Ponomarev, Ville Koivunen, in the fold, having them all there in the same fold, competing for a number of available jobs that seems really absurd on the surface, knowing that they have to compete with players who were brought in their mid-20s, young enough to still be at peak speed, peak athleticism, peak energy, like the Anthony Beauvillier, Blake Lizotte types, knowing that they've got to earn it. Whether you're the kids, whether you're those dudes in the mid-20s, or whether you're a Kevin Hayes trying to, I guess you could call his situation more of one that's resuscitating a career, but he's got a battle too. And if these battles are staged in an honest, open-minded, or at least as open-minded as you can be, kind of way, this is going to be a camp unlike any camp we've seen in a long, long time. And by that, I might be going back to like pre-Sid. I really believe that. Because what we've seen in the Sid era, by and large, and believe me, this isn't a criticism, they've got 3 rings to show for this, is that they've walked into Cranberry with a list made out in indelible ink of who would be on which line, how deep they'd go, who'd be the 13th forward, who'd be the 7th defenseman, who'd be the 3rd goaltender. And it was all over, and all they would do is just basically kind of get their legs stretched out through the preseason and get all geeked up for the opener. That's not this. That's not close to this. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. And I've got to say that regardless of how it actually turns out, the process is the right approach. And from there, management, meaning Kyle Dubas, meaning especially Mike Sullivan, have to find a way, some of this is roster management, some of it's player management, to keep that going through the season. And here's what I mean by that. You don't set up your roster for the opener on October 9th against the Rangers so that, okay, we've gotten rid of all these other guys and they're out of the organization. You need to find a way to make sure that they're sticking around, that they're a constant threat to whoever is still in Pittsburgh. Whoever it is that wins in camp needs to understand that they didn't win anything other than the right to play against the Rangers and maybe the Red Wings the following night. Beyond that, nothing is guaranteed. And oh, by the way, if we want you to go completely berserk from an energy standpoint, like Jason Zucker in the playoffs level berserk, then that's what you got to do, or you're out of here. If we want you to lie down and block a shot, then that's what you got to do, or you're out of here. It can't be the way it was this past season, where even the guys who did occasionally give you a spark or a momentary jolt, like whether it was Jesse Puljujärvi or Valtteri Puustinen, they can't ride it for 4 or 5 games. They can't ride off the coattails of a single performance or a couple performances. You just gotta keep doing it, or you're out of here. And that, more than anything, should be Sullivan's message to the entire group this morning. When we come back, J1Q. Today's J1Q comes from Rob, and he says, DK, I really enjoyed your recent episode about how to fix Ryan Graves, and I'm wondering if you might be able to do that for Ricard Rakell as well. To which I will answer, Rob, yes, and it'll be a lot shorter because he's a lot less complex. Not to mention he's a lot less far off from being fixed. What a strange 2023-24 season Rakell had. He had 15 terrific games to open the season, 0 goals, at which point he started squeezing his stick to sawdust. I saw this, I heard this from him when I was speaking with him after the games, and I had a feeling that it was about to turn bad. I didn't think it would turn that bad. Not only did he go south with his general play, but then he got hurt, was out for a while, came back, still had that 0 under the G column. But now, by that point, he's wearing it because it's a lost season. Even if he goes on some kind of tear, he knows he can't make up for it. I see this happen a lot in baseball, a numbers-driven sport, where a hitter will start off so badly that they know that there's nothing they could do to salvage it, and it brings them down in general. So Rakell, to his credit, was a part of the Penguins' late surge. His motivation, his self-evaluation, his sense of worth to the team and everything all took a leap back upward because, he was a real guy again, and he had a reason to be out there, a reason to be in a top 6 role. So how do you fix him? Well, first thing is you don't do anything. He's a pretty good hockey player. But secondly, and only since you asked, I'd like to see him gun a little bit more. He's one of those rare forwards who's a legit threat to score from all kinds of strange spots in the attacking zone. Dynamic release, good accuracy, doesn't waste his shots. He doesn't miss the net very often. And he's got terrific velocity regardless of the technique that he uses to shoot the puck. So do that, pop a couple early, find, a way to get annoying people like me coming and interviewing you and asking you, wow, Ricard, is this so much different than it was last year? And that builds you up a little bit more because now you're smiling. But even that's not asking a lot. This is a pretty complete player. And I do believe that it's the outlier when you look at the figurative back of his hockey card. He didn't have seasons like last year's in Anaheim. This was the one that was a first real drop-off. So I think he's going to be okay. I do. He doesn't need the Graves treatment, is what I'm saying. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. And if you happen to see somebody walking around with the basic blue DK Pittsburgh Sports hoodie up there in Cranberry this morning, feel free to walk up and say hi.